If you're moving to Savannah with kids, I want to give you one piece of advice before you start picking out neighborhoods from a school ranking website. Start earlier than you think. And I don't just mean start looking at houses earlier, I mean start thinking about schools, daycare, summer camps, sports, commute patterns, calendars, and what kind of environment your child actually needs to thrive. Because moving with kids is different. You're not just choosing a house, you're choosing drop-off routines, friendships, activities, support system, and the rhythm of your family's life. And in Savannah, the school conversation is more nuanced than people think. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what relocating families need to understand before they move here. From public schools and choice programs to private schools, daycare, summer camps, and why the best school may not actually be the best fit for your child. And if you want, you can download our full relocation guide. Just download it at new912.com. It's totally free and it covers all of this. So one of the most common questions we get when families are relocating to Savannah is, what are the best schools? And I completely understand why people ask that. When you're moving from out of town, you need a shortcut. You need a way to make a sense of place that you don't know yet. But here's the problem. That question can lead you in the wrong direction, because the better question is not just where is the best school. The better question is, what is the right school environment for my child, and what neighborhoods give us access to the life we actually want? So those are very different questions. Savannah has neighborhood public schools, choice programs, charter schools, private schools, nearby county school systems, and specialized programs. So you cannot really understand the whole school picture from a single ranking or a single test score. You have to look at the whole story. I want to use my own kids as an example because they had very different school paths. My daughter started at Charles Ellis for pre-K. We lived in Ardsley Park at the time, and she stayed there through 5th grade. Charles Ellis is a Montessori academy, and one of the things that surprises people is that it's actually a public school. And it's a public school that's a choice program, so there's no actual neighborhood school zone for Charles Ellis. From there, she went to the STEM Academy at Bartlett for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Once again, it's a choice school program. There is no neighborhood. And then she attended Savannah Arts Academy, also a choice school. There is no neighborhood. So it doesn't matter where you live in Savannah. If you want to go to any of those 3 schools, they are simply audition or lottery. She's now, after she went to Savannah Arts Academy, she went to Georgia College in Milledgeville, and she's been able to use her Hope Scholarship. And this is one of the great benefits of living in Georgia. So if a student qualifies based on GPA and some other requirements, the Hope Scholarship can help cover their tuition at eligible Georgia colleges and universities. So for our family, I now pay room and board, but tuition at a Georgia public university is completely covered. And that is a big deal. And it's absolutely something that relocating families should understand. Now, my son's path was much less straightforward. He did not get into Charles Ellis for pre-K. Our neighborhood school at the time was Jacob G. Smith. He also was waitlisted for that school. So we enrolled him at the YMCA for pre-K. And then during his first week of school, a spot opened up at Jacob G. Smith, and he got off the wait list and into the school. And that mattered for our family because even though he and his sister had different drop-offs at different schools, they were at least on the same public school calendar. They had the same spring break, the same teacher work days, the same general schedule. That may sound small, but when you're juggling work, school, childcare, and family logistics, it's not small at all. And then he went to Charles Ellis for kindergarten. We're going to go on a journey here. So he was there for kindergarten, 1st grade, and 2nd grade. And though he had some wonderful experiences there, Montessori was not the perfect fit for him. And we had a really thoughtful teacher who gently suggested that maybe a more traditional school environment might be better for him. At that point, we had moved from Ardsley Park to the Kensington Park area, so our neighborhood school had changed, and we enrolled him in our neighborhood school, which is Hurd Elementary. Hurd has a great STEAM focus, so that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And Ethan had always been really interested in science. He did really, really well there. And that school wasn't even on my radar when I first started looking at schools for kids. So then he went to Garrison for middle school, where he could lean into music and choir. But then the pandemic changed everything. My daughter did super well with online learning. My son did not. He did not thrive being educated on the computer in his bedroom. And that was such a clear reminder to me that all kids are different. So for 8th grade, after a lot of discussions, we made the decision to move him to Calvary Day School. Private school is a real financial commitment, but for him, it was the right fit. And he had a phenomenal 8th through 12th grade experience there, and I would not change it for anything. He's actually graduating this year, and he will also be heading to Georgia College in Milledgeville, where he will be able to use his Hope Scholarship as well. So the message here is that they had the same parents. It's the same city, but these are two kids who had very different paths. And that's why I like to tell relocating families, do not build your entire move around somebody else's idea of the best school. Build it around your child and your child's needs. When families call us, they usually ask some version of these questions. Should we live in Chatham, Bryan, or Effingham County? How do we get into Savannah Arts? How do choice schools work? Do we need private school? Is Richmond Hill worth it for the schools? And the honest answer is, it depends. Chatham County gives you access to Savannah Chatham public schools, neighborhood schools, choice programs, charter schools, and a wide range of private options. Bryan County, especially Richmond Hill, is a major draw for families who want a more suburban environment and highly regarded public school systems. Effingham County, very similar. It's another option for families looking for more space, strong community ties, strong schools, and a different pace outside the city. But none of these is automatically right or wrong. It depends on your family, on your child, your budget, your commute, your timeline, and the kind of life you want for your family to have outside of schools. So one thing that surprises relocating families is that Savannah has several public school options that are not simply based on your neighborhood address. So there are choice programs, charter schools, and specialized academic paths. So Savannah Arts is probably the one that most people have heard of. It is a public school, one of the top rated in the state, but students apply and they also have to audition. So that doesn't mean you can just buy a house nearby and assume your child will attend. And it's true for several specialized programs. Some schools may involve applications, auditions, lotteries, deadlines, academic requirements, or even transportation considerations. So if you're moving here with the hope of getting into a specific program, please start early. Do not wait until you're already under contract on a house and ask how schools work, because by then you may have already missed a deadline. So Savannah has a strong private school community. There are religious schools, independent, college prep schools, Montessori options, schools with learning support, and schools with different academic or cultural environments. Private schools can be a wonderful fit, and it was for my son in his high school years. But I never want families to feel like private school is the only path. It's one option. It's an expensive one. The New to 912 guide is going to show private school options, and it will note that annual costs really range from $8,000 to $25,000 a year, depending on the school and the grade level. So if private school might be part of your plan, that needs to be part of your housing budget too, because your monthly housing budget may look very different if you're also planning a private school tuition. I also want to talk about something really important. Literacy is a big deal in Savannah, and I say that with care because school conversations can get oversimplified very quickly. There are real challenges here, but there is great work being done. There is a program called Chatham Literacy Moonshot, and it launched in March of 2026. And their goal is to get 95% of Chatham County third graders on reading on grade level within 5 years. It's led by the Chatham Education Alliance in partnership with the Savannah Chatham County Public Schools and community partners. The strategy includes early childhood support, in-school support, family support, teacher pipeline work, and broader community involvement. Our team absolutely supports this initiative because strong schools are not just good for families. They're good for neighborhoods, they're great for housing stability, and they're good for the future of Savannah. So when people ask about schools here, I want to be honest. I also want to be hopeful. There are many people working very hard to improve the outcomes for the kids of our community, and that truly matters. So now let's talk about something that people often forget. And sometimes they forget until it's really urgent. I'm talking about daycare, preschools, summer camps. If you have little ones, do not wait until you're here to start looking. Some daycare and preschool options have wait lists, and some summer camps can book up very quickly. In our new to 912 guide, we specifically note that many parents start signing their kids up for summer camps as early as February or March. So if you're moving here in May or June and assuming you're just going to find a summer camp once you arrive, it can be stressful. It's certainly not impossible, but stressful. Savannah has wonderful options. We have art camps, theater camps, sport camps, nature camps, YMCA programs. There's a camp at the JEA, Oatland Island, the Telfair Savannah, Children's Theater, and more and more and more. But the good ones fill up, so start looking earlier than you think. So in Savannah, schools matter, but school is not the full family experience. You're also going to want to think about how long is your commute in the morning? Can your child ride their bike or walk anywhere safely? Where will they play sports? Are there neighborhood pools? Are there parks nearby? Where do the teenagers hang out? How far are you from music lessons, soccer practice, theater, dance, church, synagogue, the beach, grandparents, or whatever matters in your real life? This is why two families can look at the exact same neighborhood and have two totally different reactions. A family with toddlers may care more about preschools, parks, and a pool, and a family with middle schoolers may care about proximity to sports activities and friend groups. A family with teenagers may care about driving, independence, social life, and how far they are from school and work. There really is no universal answer, and it's only the right fit for your family. So if you're moving to Savannah with kids, here's how I would approach it. First, make a list of what your child actually needs. Not what looks best online, but what your child needs. Do they thrive with structure? Do they need creativity? Do they need extra support? Are they athletic? Are they artistic? Are they academic? Do they feel anxious with change? Are they ready for independence? Second, look at the school options and timelines before you choose a neighborhood. And then third, let's think about your family's daily rhythm. Drop off, pick up, commute, after school activities, summer camp, and school calendars all matter. And then fourth, let's build your housing budget around the whole picture. That includes possible private school tuition, childcare, camp costs, transportation, and commute trade-offs. Fifth, let's talk to local people before you make assumptions. That does not mean asking strangers or the internet to rank schools. It means talking to people who understand the school landscape, the neighborhoods, and the relocation process. Moving to Savannah with kids can be wonderful. There are great schools, creative programs, strong private options, neighborhood parks, pools, beaches, camps, sports, and so many ways for kids to find their place. But you do need to start earlier than you think, because the right move is not about the right house. It's about the right school fit, the right neighborhood rhythm, and the right support for your family. And this is why we created the New to 912 guide. It includes school information, private school options, daycare resources, summer camp ideas, neighborhoods, and local context to help you start making sense of Savannah before you get here. You can download it at new912.com. And when you're ready, we would be happy to help you think through not just where you want to live, but where you should live with your family.